Hey everyone, it's your boy Ajax here, giving it to you straight on how One Piece chapter 788 turned up this week. Now, in all honesty, it was an okay chapter. It wasn't anything out of this world. It was just basically giving exposition on how the civilians and all the other warriors in Dressrosa are handling the situation right now. The situation being Birdcage. And in all honesty, I mean, it wasn't really that big of a deal. It was mostly, I like to call these like filler chapters because it really didn't, like, I'm not saying it didn't progress the plot, but it's not something that I want to see. I want to see Luffy getting it in, kicking Doflamingo's ass in Gear 4th, but he's currently healing from Gear 4th, so we got to give him time for that. It was kind of confusing how exactly all the civilians were pushing back Birdcage from closing in on them, because from what I understand, they're basically, like, at least Frankie and some of the civilians, they're grabbing a building and they're pushing it against Birdcage to stop it from shrinking. But correct me if I'm wrong on this, but wasn't Birdcage supposed to slice through everything it touches as it's shrinking down? I don't know, it kind of confused me a bit. Unless Birdcage is just meant to like squish everything together, then I guess that makes sense. But at least when Doflamingo put out Birdcage, I was just thinking, okay, so it's slicing through everything. That was my interpretation of it, but I guess it doesn't do that because, I mean, Frankie's pushing the building up against Birdcage and it's not slicing up. And they're actually able to stop it. They're actually able to, like, stop it for a few seconds and then it started going again. So whatever they're doing, it's working. One thing I do want to mention, though, I know it's not a big deal of the chapter, but I really want to drive this home that Zoro, he was actually, like, tired in this chapter. Like, he was, you know, huffing and puffing, trying to hold back Birdcage. And I want to make that a point because since the Straw Hats came into New World, we haven't really seen Zoro, like, put on too much strain in any of his fights. Of course, we have seen him showcase his abilities and whatnot, but not all of them, don't get me wrong. We haven't seen him, like, you know, stress out with anything, you know, like the way he used to do in almost all the arcs pre-time skip. He did it in Thriller Bark, he did it in CP9, Water 7. You know, Zoro, even though as much as a badass as he is, don't get me wrong, he's a badass mofo, but like, we haven't seen him really put up a struggle in any of the fights he's been in since Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, and now Dressrosa. He hasn't really put that much effort. So it was such a breath of fresh air to see, wow, Zoro's actually huffing and puffing. That doesn't mean he's putting all his strength into that. No. That is not what that means. At least that's what I hope it doesn't mean. Because we haven't seen Zoro go to his full extent. I honestly see him going to his full extent when he gets to that Samurai Island that he's taking those two other guys to after this arc or whatever. And we also got a little more insight on Mon Cheri's powers. We knew from the beginning that her powers were like very, very powerful. Like, she can heal anyone or anything. And apparently she's doing that to all the people in Dressrosa at the moment. At least the war. Yeah, actually, no, she's doing that. Yeah, she is doing that to everyone, so that they can all run away and get away from Birdcage. But they do have drawbacks. Like, I believe she said it was like temporary, or is like a temporary restoration process. So I'm guessing if someone has a broken leg and and Mon Cheri cries on it, and they start running, like booking it out of there, they're eventually gonna have a broken leg again, or at least a semi-broken leg, maybe a sprained leg, whatever. After that restoration process, you know, subsides. But yeah, and then finally the chapter ended off with giving us the amount of time Luffy has until he gets back up into Gear 4th to lay the smackdown on Doflamingo. At the moment, I believe Viola and Rebecca are facing Doflamingo right now. To be honest, I never was a fan of Rebecca. I honestly saw her as just eye candy for fans, so like fan service, but Viola, I really do like Viola's character. So the fact that she's standing up to Doflamingo is like a huge step forward for her character. Doesn't mean she ain't gonna be able to do shit. Like, Doflamingo is on a whole other level from Viola, but you know, she ain't afraid right now. She ain't backing down. Respect her for that. So I honestly see this chapter as a prequel to the big finale, at least a semi-big finale, because Luffy has, what, 1 more minute until he gets back into Gear 4. So as soon as he gets back into that, he is going to just start wrecking shit. But yeah, overall, okay chapter of One Piece. If you leave a like, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, you can do so as well. Oh, I would love you forever. And as always, people, stay beautiful.